What was normal to you as a kid, but you later realized how fucked up it actually was. 1. My father was nice and friendly out in public but was an absolute asshole to the family at home. Me witnessing my dad being really friendly to everyone in public and then being an absolute raging asshole at home made me just think, well, I guess everyone is just two-faced and using each other. All those movies about love are just lies and fantasies. If you're not using someone, then what use are they to you? Obviously he doesn't get to use us at home, so we aren't useful, so we don't get treated well. BTW. No, he wasn't an alcoholic. He wouldn't even allow alcohol in the house because so many people in our family were alcoholics. 2. During the divorce they would try to get information about each other and say the other one was bad for me. 3. Being bullied and threatened with violence by your father and having your mother make excuses or outright blaming you for it. Well, you know how he is. And well, you shouldn't have stood up for yourself. It destroyed my self-esteem and confidence growing up. It has taken years to rebuild myself. One good thing that has come from this: I don't yell at people or threaten people if they make me angry. In the best situation, I am able to resolve conflict in a civil and respectful manner. Worst case, I remove myself from the situation and go for a walk to clear my head so I can later reapproach the conflict with a cool head. 4. My mom's boyfriend would pick me up by my hair sometimes. It didn't hurt his shit ton, so I never complained, which in turn made him keep doing it. My hair was always in a ponytail, so it was easy to grab and do. I told a coworker about it and laughed because it wasn't a terrible memory. But he didn't laugh like I did. It was more of a nervous laugh. Then he says, that's actually pretty fucked up. Then I started to think about all the stuff I actually do remember from my childhood and realized how shitty it really was. I have 2 kids, and it was never a thought to ever pick them up by their hair. 5. I live in England, and my uncle's neighbor had a pet monkey living in a big enclosure in his garden. This was in the early 2000s. I assumed this was totally normal. No idea how he got it. We still know those neighbors and it's just never discussed. Thank you for having the only answer that isn't somehow childhood trauma. I know. Same. I was hoping for more comments like the pet monkey, and I just got more and more depressed as I kept scrolling. 6. When I was 7, I came to the realization that if I showed any signs that I was in a good mood around my mother, she would find some reason to yell at me. Even started testing it. Would walk into rooms she was in smiling versus not and proved my theory right. So I just stopped smiling, and it didn't take much longer for it to stop being an act. 7. That my dad would bring his beer with him in the car. Or that being pulled over happened pretty often when I was with my dad in the car. He always had a failure to appear warrant out for some stupid traffic ticket. He was one of those functional alcoholics who you never saw drunk. My parents loved me and genuinely did their best, but they're not the sort of people known for making good decisions. 8. Thought it was normal to constantly apologize over even the slightest little fuck-up so I don't get screamed at. I still have this problem today. Not me, but my wife. I used to just reassure her that she didn't have to apologize for everything, but that didn't help her to distinguish when it was appropriate or not. Now, when she says sorry, I ask what she's apologizing for, and it seems to help her a little. That being said, she apologized last night when the dog tripped me. 9. My grandparents coming every time it was my dad's weekend to have us. It was awesome having that time with them, but turns out he wasn't allowed to have visits with us unsupervised. 10. Parents having blackout rages. Sometimes, I was a brat. Other times, I had done nothing wrong. I just remember being made to feel like a worthless loser, screamed at, and manipulated. Then the next day, it would say sorry, sorry, sorry. This happened a lot. Eventually, the sorries mean nothing and you begin to feel actually worthless. 11. Having no food in the house and little to no adult supervision while random men come and go from my mother's room. I'm legit impressed I nor my younger brother ended up taken or worse. It was kind of miserable, in hindsight, because some of these guys would come back with some fast food for us and hang out for a bit talking or playing video games. Magic Mike was super cool and I still miss him. 12. I remember my sister had this fake belly button ring she showed my dad. He immediately ripped it out, which was quite painful. I asked if he even knew if it was fake and he didn't. He thought it was real and did that. Pierced my own lip in 8th grade at a friend's house. It was really easy to hide because my mom was rarely home, and when she was, I was in my room, or I could just take it out, and she had very bad eyesight, so there was no way she was seeing the hole. In 9th grade, I'm on the bus on the way home when my sister texts me, "Mom knows about your lip ring from a picture on Facebook." I told her I didn't know anything about it and it was probably fake. She gave me an out. But for some stupid reason I thought, you know what? No. Fuck this. I'm wearing it home. Needless to say, didn't go well. Luckily, I was very small and very fast, and she couldn't really go upstairs, otherwise it would have got ripped right out without hesitation. On the plus side, my older sisters were wowed by my boldness and utter stupidity, and I gained a lot of bravery points lol. 13. I thought it was normal to walk on eggshells around my father to avoid having him blow up in anger over the littlest things such as crying, eating snacks, the tiniest bit of bickering, and whispering, but there were many more examples. He was deployed out when I was little, and he received a lot of head trauma in the process, which explains his actions, and he is really adamant on changing his behavior towards us now, and that makes me happy. 14. How many songs are actually about fucking? On that note, I was shocked when I learned the actual lyrics to the songs from Grease. I had a music teacher in junior high who would just take us for an hour a week and make us sing whatever she felt like. One of her favorites were musical soundtracks, but because some of them were age inappropriate, she would just make up her own lyrics. There were others she did this with too, but Grease just stands out because damn, that movie is horny. 15. Dad being drunk before noon every day. I didn't think it was normal, but I didn't know how abnormal it was. Same. But with my mom. It took me until my late teenage years to realize that my mom was an alcoholic. I just thought it was normal for most of my childhood, even though it caused a lot of trauma. 16. Never being allowed to just chill. My mother was a neat freak and always wanted us to be doing chores. I have memories of wiping walls and baseboards when I was 5. We literally couldn't sit around her because she would get irritated. Now as an adult, I don't really know how to spend my free time. I clean my apartment and take care of my needs. I only really chill on my phone when I'm on the bus or on my break at work. I don't watch TV or work on hobbies unless I have someone else doing it with me because I always feel a weird guilt after. As a child, this was normal, but as an adult, I now realize that it's such a strange way to live. 17. When I was in the 1st grade, my parents started leaving me home alone. I was 6. Both my parents worked. I would come home from school to an empty house every day. I didn't have keys to get in at first, so I would try and find an unlocked window and climb in. My dad yelled at me for scuffing the siding with my shoes. He gave me a set of keys to the front door. Looking back, I was the only kid in my class that has a set of keys on them. 90s kid. Days dad worked firefighter, so 24 on 24 off shifts. I had to bus home and be a latchkey kid with mom working as well. Some days was home alone all day. Things I learned. The refrigerator compressor sounds like someone talking down the hallway. The Dark Crystal is not your average Disney movie. Just because Penn and Teller are hosting it, The Howling is probably not the thing to watch. We recorded all the magicians. I didn't know I was getting into a horror movie. The hardest part about Above was the town dad worked in was a retirement village, so I was the only kid on the street. 18. Having to be the grown-up for as long as I can remember. Bipolar mom, alcoholic dad, severely disturbed brother, and me trying to keep everyone alive and well. Ish. As an adult, I have almost supernatural people skills. I can de-escalate any wild Karen, read people quickly and accurately, and get people to do what I need quickly and efficiently. Not because I like to, but because I had to in order to survive my house. My mom is finally on the right cocktail of meds and therapy, and I can finally see the person she really is when all that mental illness isn't making her hide inside her own head. My dad isn't drinking right now, and that will have to be good enough. I don't drink anymore, and I'm not starting back up ever. My brother passed in 2010, but at least we know where he is now, and that he's at peace. You can survive a chaotic home, but it takes strength, both from yourself and whoever you choose as your new family. I couldn't do it alone, but my tribe is there when I need an anchor. I'm giving my children the home I always needed, and healing myself along the way. For anyone who is also healing, I'm proud of you, and I believe in you. Your past does not define you. Your family's burdens are not yours to bear. 19. Being in elementary school and waking myself up for school, making all my own food, and walking myself 1-2 blocks to the bus stop while my mom slept, making almost all meals for myself. I lived off of mushroom soup for lunch because that's all I could figure out how to cook. 20. Parents used to wake me up at 4 a.m. to make them a drink. I slept over a friend's house one night and slept till 7 a.m. My first words to my friend were, "Why didn't your parents wake us up at 4 a.m.? She said, "Why would they?" I said, "To make them a drink." I will never forget the look she gave me. That was when I realized it wasn't normal. I was 12. 21. In junior high, our gym coach mandated that all boys would wear an athletic supporter for gym class. He was very strict in this. For 3 years before every gym class, we would all line up, and he would have us walk up to him. He would say check, and we'd pull open our shorts so he could verify we were wearing our supporter. Usually he'd see that we were wearing the jock strap, and sometimes it was either whitey tighties or commando. To this day, I still don't believe he had any ill intent. I just figure he had taken some kind of testicle injury when he was a boy and wanted to spare us the same injury. In retrospect, it seems pretty fucked up though.